Well, the Prime Minister wants you to age at home. And in a rare moment of political unity, the Coalition has backed in his multi-billion-dollar deal after several months of negotiations. Joining us live now, the National Senator Bridget McKenzie and the Independent MP Zali Steggall, both of whom have had a few headlines this week, so thanks for joining us today. Morning to you both. Bridget, to you first. Apparently there were objections from about 12 Liberal MPs, according to Trudy. Some concerns about how this affects regional services. So on your side, do you support this policy?
Well, we've entered good faith negotiations with the government on certain sections of these legislative changes. We want to see a sustainable and strong aged care system following the Royal Commission findings. And, you know, that means particularly for rural and regional aged care providers who have been closing under Labor's legislation over the last 2 years, we want to make sure that you don't have to move to the city to actually age in place. So we've been able to secure a $300 million specific package for rural and regional Australians and aged care providers. We've been able to grandfather those that are already in the system and a range of concessions from the Labor Party that make it much fairer than the package we were originally faced with. There's still a lot of detail we don't know about that hasn't been released publicly, and that's why we're sending it to a Senate inquiry so that we can actually expose that, look at the impact of it more broadly. But we all know that half of the aged care were operating at a loss under the Labor Party's changes of the last 2 years. Yeah, look, it's important policy, important reform, this one. So from the regions to the city now, your thoughts on this, Zali? Is it fair, the carve-up so far? Because, you know, some will be complaining about it, no doubt.
Well, look, I do welcome progress in this area. We had an extensive Royal Commission, a lot of concerns around the standards of care and many, many recommendations. So I really welcome that there is going to be progress. But look, the proof will be in the pudding, right? We haven't seen the legislation and we haven't seen the details. So I welcome the announcement, but I really want to analyse it closely.
The big point, though, yeah, I get that. But the big point is that, you know, the richer retirees are going to have to pay more. So, I mean, do you like that? Do you agree with that concept, Zali?
Look, there's no doubt we've got an ageing population and we have a problem with the sector that isn't keeping pace with demand, and we have, you know, many people have a preference of staying at home as long as possible. So the question is how residential care works in with aged care plans so that people can be assisted at staying at home. There's no doubt there has to be a review of the model, and I've met with many people in my community about this. So I will look at it very closely. All
right, to the election now, Zali, and staying with you on this one. The North Sydney seat is now gone, and according to polls this week, the Liberals are running hot in Goldstein and Curtin, both Teal seats. As the OG Teal, are you worried about going backwards this next election?
Look, I think the members, well, I guess a couple of elements to that. I'm incredibly sad for the people of North Sydney and for Kylie Tink. I think she's done an incredible job there, and it's really unfortunate because I suspect in a few years we'll see a North Sydney seat reinstated because of the amount of population growth there's going to be. So I'm a little bit critical about that process. In relation to my crossbench colleagues, I think Zoe Daniel, Mon, all of the independent Teals community independents have done a phenomenal job in representing their communities. So I think it's up to the communities. They will look at who's taking policies to the election and actually clear plans around accountability and key issues, and not just slogans.
Well, on that, I mean, you led Teals in calling for a 75% cut to emissions by 2035 this week. So could that damage your chances in a mining state such as WA?
Well, the reality is all of Australia is incredibly exposed to climate change and the impacts, and we're not on track to keep temperatures within a range that will keep us safe, our communities safe. And as cost of living is biting, every aspect of cost of living will be exacerbated by climate change. And the first and foremost is insurance at the moment. So in WA, it's actually a state that's highly exposed to insurance stress at the moment, and that the insurance premiums are only going up because the risk exposure is going up. Cost of food, water, all of those things are impacted. So, no, I think governments need to walk and chew gum at the same time. We need to make sure we maintain that pressure and stay in the game when it comes to the transition to clean energy.
I know you've got a thought on this, Bridget.
Absolutely, Pete. I mean, listening to Zali talk about all Australians feeling the impact of climate change, I would like her to release the modelling that she bases this 75% claim on, and so that we can understand the social, the economic and the environmental impact of such an aggressive target. But I bet it won't be felt in Mossman. I bet the economic, social and environmental impacts of such an aggressive emissions target won't be felt in her seat at all. On the Teals, I think it's incredibly interesting that, North Sydney, a lot of that seat's going to be included in the seat of Warringah where Zali sits. And I would like to see a pre-selection so that the community of Warringah can actually have some options of who their representative and Teal candidate's going to be. It's not a sorority. Gal pals are going to have to, I guess, make some decisions about who's going to represent them. And I think it's an opportunity for Kylie to actually, say to the community that Zali represents, you've got two options now. So I think the Teal movement is going to be in for some challenges going forward.
OK, we've got to go, but 30 seconds to respond to that, Zali.
That's just quite a strange comment by Bridget. I think she needs to worry about what's happening within the Nationals and her own situation. But look, I'm quite comfortable working closely with Kylie. There is no issue there. Our communities are feeling very well represented, and we'll continue to focus on that. My thoughts are with the volunteers and the community impacted by the decision of the AEC.
All right, Zali, Bridget, we've got to go, but thank you for your time as always. We'll talk to you again soon.